Let's take a look at this application that involves a triangle that is not right. So we will be using law of sines or law of cosines to figure this out. Okay, so we have Raphael and Anne are standing on a riverbank 100 meters apart at points A and B respectively. So our picture is describing that nicely. Anne is 200 meters from a house located across the river at point C. Suppose that angle A, so that's the one that's marked right here, is 49 degrees. Okay, so that's this one. What is the measure of angle B, or ABC? So that would be this one. That's what we're looking for. Round your answer to the nearest tenth of a degree. Okay, so I have an angle and the side opposite the angle. And then we also have another side, so we can use law of sines. So I can say here is, angle A, and then I would have the side A as well. So I could say sine of 49 degrees over 200 meters is equal to, and then since I have this 100 meters, I could find the angle opposite it. So I could find angle C. If I have two of the three angles, I can just add them together and subtract from 180 to find that third angle. So that's what I'm going to do. So let's set up the other fraction to say, okay, sine of angle C is equal to the side across from C, which would be side C, or 100 meters. Okay, so I'm just going to cross multiply. So basically 200 sine C is equal to 100 times sine of 49 degrees. And so sine C is equal to 100 sine of 49 degrees divided by 200. Okay, so let's start with that. So I've got the calculator pulled up here. Okay, so we have 100 times sine of 49, and then that's all divided by 200. Okay, and then to find C, we will take sine inverse of that, right? So angle C will equal to sine inverse of that expression. So what is that point? We'll say 3. I'm going to take it out a few places. 7, 7, 4. But I think if I just hit the sine inverse button on the calculator, it will do just that. Yeah. So that gives me angle C equaling 22 point. Again, I'm going to just take it out a few and then subtract from 180. So that gives me, again, this angle C right here. But really what we're looking for is angle B. So if I add angle C to angle A, so I'm just going to leave that decimal there, and to it add A, which is 49. So that gives me 71. So I'm going to subtract that from 180. So I'm just going to do minus 180. Of course, that's going to give me a negative number, but I know that that would be positive. So that tells me that angle B would be, it says to round to the nearest tenth. So 108 degrees, 0.8. So 108.8 degrees. So yeah, just be careful when you start doing these intermediate computations to take it out at least 4 places until you're doing that very last rounding at the end, like we did here. Okay, so let's take a look at another example. Okay, so here we have 2 planes leave an airport at the same time. An hour later, the planes are 296 kilometers apart. Okay, so that's drawn right here. Let's see, if one plane has traveled 300 kilometers and the other 228, we're looking for the angle between the flight paths. So we're looking for this angle theta. Okay. So let's label this in terms of A, B, and C, and then we can see what we're going to use. So, all right, so I'm going to call this A. We'll call this B, and we'll call this C. And so then this would be side B, this would be side C, and this would be side A. So we'll go ahead and use law of cosines where we can solve for cosine A. So that would be A squared is equal to, let me fix that. A squared is equal to B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cosine A. And then we'll be solving for cosine A. We'll have everything else. Okay, so A squared will be 296 squared is equal to 228 squared plus 300 squared minus 2 times 228 times 300, and then cosine A. Okay, so we can use our calculator. I'm going to just kind of speed things up. Obviously, we're going to add these two together, subtract from 296 squared, and then divide by negative 2 times 228 times 300. So this will be 296 squared, and then we would be subtracting 228 squared and 300 squared. And then we would be dividing by negative 2 times 228 times 300. And that would equal cosine A. Okay, so let's plug this in. So 296, oops, let's cancel that out. So 296 squared minus 228 squared minus 300 squared. Okay, and then this all gets divided by 2. And that's negative 2. Is there a place where there's a positive and negative? Let's do that. Negative 2 times 228 times 300. Okay, so that gives us cosine A is equal to, we'll say 0.3974. And so to get that angle A, we will take cosine inverse of that number. So if I hit cosine inverse, that will give me, rounding to the nearest 10th, 66.6 degrees.